Hello and welcome. My name is Lori Painter, a holistic health practitioner and personal transformation coach for women. If you are interested in living a life of love, inspiration, freedom, and empowerment, if you are interested in transforming the course of your life, if you feel that you're stuck, limited, held back in any particular way, I'm just sharing with you today and in this series the resources and tools that I have used and implemented in my life that has empowered me to transform my life. And maybe some of the resources that I've shared with you in this series will light you up and spark a curiosity into you that you will then go and take this video and go further and deeper, have an open mind, implement them into your life, and see if it's something that actually helps you. Today's video is all about living by the moon cycles or just energy cycles of the physical body, especially as a woman. I predominantly speak with women because I am a woman, and so I speak from that perspective, and that's my forte. So the infradian, there's rhythms of the body, right? The energy, like we have a circadian rhythm where we have a wake and a sleep cycle. We have an infradian rhythm where men just operate on a circadian rhythm. They're the same every single day, day in and day out. But women, we have hormonal fluctuations that changes from your menstruation, your follicular phase, your ovulation phase, and your luteal phase. And each one of them actually requires some modifications and adjustments to really support the body fully and completely through those hormonal adjustments. And it happens over the course of a month. And once I started implementing, changing my diet, my exercise, even the way that I work, the way that I relate, like literally living by the moon cycles or my infradian rhythm, I was able to find the genius of every part of my cycle. And this used to not be the case for me. Like, I remember I used to get PMS and I would be like, oh man, my cycle this, or oh, I have PMS. And it seemed like I only had a very small window of this 1 month cycle that was actually, I was able to make the most of it. But once I started living by my moon cycles and learning what the purpose of each of them was and what each benefit of each cycle was and how to make the most of that, I just restructured my life. So there are a lot of books and videos and resources that go further and deeper into this. I believe there's the Woman Code, Alyssa Vitti. She has done a lot of work on this. And so just go check out some of those resources. If you, especially, I've shared so many different resources, the mind-body connection, processing trauma, emotions, beliefs, and all these different things. This is just another one of these tools. But I remember going through and starting to develop PMS and then starting to develop other female hormonal issues. A lot of them, yes, have been resolved, whether it was through all of the resources that I've shared, through healing some mental emotional wounds, doing some behavioral changes, processing trauma, changing my diet, changing my workouts, changing my nutrition based on the time of the month and things like that. So anyhow, I no longer have the symptoms and the ailments that I was developing based on just healing my own self through the resources that I'm sharing with you in this series. And yeah, moon cycles. Like, for example, during your menses, it's not there is a time and a place for everything to be done. And menses is not the time to be doing intense workouts, but it is a really great time to be doing shadow work or working on unfinished business in the cycle. Menses, it's kind of like a death, right? It's where your body is literally going through a grieving and a death process. So if there's anything that has accumulated over the past month that is weighing you down that you haven't processed, this is the time to clean house, and the body is going through that process. But it isn't the time to be, Ironman triathlete at that time. And so it's honoring that and honoring the hormonal fluctuations of that time with your, like I said, your diet, your exercise, and even just how you show up in business and in your relationships. So it's just really like a whole life, cycle. And then again, once you move into your follicular phase, even your brain waves are totally firing differently. Your hormones are totally firing differently. This is a time where your activity is starting to boost, but your metabolism's still a little bit slow. So there's all these beautiful things. So if there's something that I'd like you to research, if you are a woman that is still menstruating, and you are not having effortless cycles, that you are having PMS, PCOS, I mean, there's just like anything female hormonally cycle related, you may want to look into resources to live by your moon cycles, honor your infradian rhythm. Of course, I mean, for me personally, I honor my infradian rhythm. I also honor my circadian rhythm, my wake and sleep cycle. I have an AM routine and a PM routine that I follow. And then I also honor an infradian rhythm. And that is the rest, work, play ratio. And one of these ultradian rhythms is like, you can only do so many things or so much, put out so much energy before you need replenishment and rest. And this is the best one that I've heard is like a 90-minute work cycle to a 20-minute rest cycle. Like you could do physical activity for up to 90 minutes with peak performance, but then anything after 90 minutes, perhaps the performance will decrease mentally, emotionally, or physically. So then you would do a 20-minute rest, meaning eyes closed, no, sensory deprivation, you're not listening to anything, you're totally resting, and then you can repeat that in ultradian rhythm. But for me, when I first started this, 90-minute work sessions at peak performance was not happening on a physical level or even on a mental focus level. So I started with Pomodoro, the Pomodoro technique, which is working for 25 minutes at a time. And I would set my timer with then a 5-minute break. But during that 5 minutes, obviously like go to the bathroom, get something to drink, get something to eat, take care of whatever you need to, and then close your eyes and totally shut down. Do your breath work and just replenish and rest for 5 minutes and then go back into it. Set the timer for 25 minutes, do whatever it is that you need to do, and then once that timer goes off, go take care of your business and then rest for 5 more minutes. And then what happened in time is that then I got really good at the 25 5-minute work rest ratio. Then I moved into 60-10 where I could work for 60 minutes at a time, giving my undivided attention and full energetic investment, and then would do a 10-minute break and then build up to 90 minutes of intense clear focus with then a 20-minute break. So whenever I hear about people, they talk about like, oh my gosh, I'm getting burned out, these things need to be taken into account. Your infradian rhythm, you're going to have way more stamina at certain times of the months than other times of the months. And then also understanding your circadian rhythm and your rest to wake sleep cycle, and then working with the ultradian rhythm, which is your work and rest ratio throughout the circadian rhythm. So I have implemented those things, and I've just found that think of it like your body, like your cell phone, or you put it on the charger every so often, and if you don't recharge it, it's just going to burn out much faster. And so using these energy cycles allows us to operate more at full capacity rather than at like these massively depleted states where we're getting poor results because we're not fully recharged. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm burned out, or I just don't have the energy, the focus, or the stamina, maybe you need some rest, and maybe you need to get in touch with where you're at in your cycle and what is the best way to support yourself physiologically, mentally, emotionally, and physiologically during this infradian rhythm, in this circadian rhythm, in this ultradian rhythm. So if that's a lot, I'm happy to answer more questions for you, but this is just a tool that I have implemented that I have found tremendous value in, that has really helped me make the most of all phases of my cycle, and I believe that all women deserve to have that same ability. So I am wishing you well. I hope you enjoyed this resource. I hope you look into it further and deeper and find the value in it for yourself. And if not, well, on to the next thing. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.